Hey guys, today we're talking about graphing functions and finding domain and range. So go ahead and label your notes 1.4 and title it Graphing Functions and Finding, that's an F, finding the domain and range. Promise you it's a lot easier than what you think, because I remember in high school thinking it was a lot harder than it really was. Okay, first off, what we're going to talk about is if I were to give you an equation and I asked you to tell me what the domain is, and you had to solve by hand. So find domain algebraically. Okay? We had f of x equals 3x minus 1 over x squared minus 4. Whenever it is a fraction, all you have to do is take the bottom and you're going to set it equal to 0. Why, you ask? Because domain, you cannot have any x value, you can't have the bottom of a fraction equal to 0. Okay? So in this type of problem, all you have to do is solve for x. So you're going to have to factor. Once you factor, you get x plus 2, x minus 2 equals 0. You set each one equal to 0 separately. So x cannot be positive 2 or negative 2. Now the way you're going to write this on your homework for domain, there's a couple ways. You can say negative infinity, comma, negative 2. Okay, remember parentheses means, we can write this on the side. That means open. Brackets mean closed. So just do a little side note there. You can never have a bracket on infinity because it goes on forever. And x cannot equal negative 2, so that's why it has to be open. Then you're going to have a union. Then you're going to go from negative 2, comma, positive 2, another parentheses. You have another union, 2 to infinity. So what that tells us, if we were to graph this equation, is that there would be asymptotes at negative 2 and positive 2. Okay? You can write it like, this is called using interval notation. So I'm going to write both ways. This is interval notation. Okay, you can also write it like set notation, and it looks like squiggly. You're going to do x, and you're going to say x cannot equal negative 2 or x cannot equal positive 2. You'll see both. Next example. Let's change that to A. So that's example A. We'll do example B now. Okay? You will see something like f of x equals x to the 4th minus 1 over x plus 2. Okay? I'm going to give you about 15 seconds to solve it and tell me what x cannot equal, and then we'll check it. If you set, oh, hang on.
Please pardon this interruption. This announcement is for juniors. Juniors, if you received a letter last week regarding the Revolution Prep classes for PSAT, please note there has been a correction in the start date. The class will actually start on September 15th, not tonight. Please make sure if you have any questions about this to see Mrs. Carlton in room A207. Again, that class will not start tonight. It will start on September the 15th. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. All right, hopefully you guys got the answer to B, negative infinity, comma, -2, union, -2, comma, positive infinity. All we did is we set it equal to 0, solve for x, and that's what they tell us what x cannot equal. Okay, next equation we will get is something like g of x equals the square root of x minus 12. Okay, all you do with these problems is you're going to take it, whatever's underneath the square root, and you're going to set that equal to 0. Okay? What this says, and you're going to solve for x. X cannot be less than or equal to, it just cannot be less than 12. Because if we get less than 12, like 10 minus positive 10 minus 12, we'd get -2. Can you get a negative square root? No. So, x has to be less than, oh crap, I messed that up. X has to be greater than. Greater than 12, sorry. I said it right, I wrote it wrong. It has to be greater than 12. And it actually can be equal to, because you can't have a square root of 0, which is 0. Okay? Again, I'm going to give you guys a quick problem for you to try. So we got D, and if we had g of x equals square root of 6 minus 7x, all you do here, we're going to set the bottom equal to 0. So you get 6 minus 7x equals 0. Solve. So you get x is 6/7, but x has to be greater than or equal to 6/7. Okay, the way you write these problems using set notation, or actually I should say interval notation, is like that. Okay, bracket, because it's included, 6/7, comma, infinity. Okay, same with the one above it. I'm sorry I did not graph it with interval notation, and it should look like 12, bracket, comma, positive infinity. And yes, if you put a bracket on infinity, I will count off, because you can't close infinity. It goes on forever, it never ends. Okay? Another problem that I want y'all to look at is if I was asking you to find the range. Okay? So let me extend this page. So find range. Okay? If you had y equals 1 over x plus 1, okay? There is a horizontal asymptote, okay? The way you find that horizontal asymptote is if I was to make this right here 0, okay? Y cannot equal 1, because there is no way you can get 1 over x to equal 0. That's implying that x is on the bottom, and that's an undefined line, hence there would be a horizontal asymptote. Okay, the graph of this function would look roughly like this. And then you guys know the parent function of the rational and that's horrible, but you guys get the idea. Okay, so you're shifting it up 1, and that's why there is a horizontal asymptote at y equals 1. Okay? This would conclude your notes for tonight. Tell your parents to come to open house, and see y'all tomorrow.